Hey everyone, hope you're having a great Saturday. Thank you for watching this. I thought I had done all the videos on Amy Lynn Bradley because I'm trying to help the family out. And there is a whole new swath of information that has come out that is confusing people. And I use that word, confusing, because people are so eager and thirsty to take anything and metastasize it into truth when maybe there's just morsels that are truth. So I will get right into it. And there is information. Number one, Amy Lynn Bradley, when she was taken off the ship, a cruise staff member who was working in the kitchen made a comment about the señorita was taken. This cruise staff member was from South America, Spanish speaker. This has come through the FBI investigation that was not released on the Netflix documentary. The Netflix documentary, and it's been said many times, I'm not the only one who said this, glossed over so much, and it was done intentionally. They weren't, it was a documentary. It's not the ID channel. They had to be very careful with legal loopholes and liability of what they said as well. So that's another reason why. But people took that documentary as gospel, and then all this other stuff has come through and they're filling in the blanks. It doesn't work that way. So if you're looking at my necklace, these are alligator teeth I got in Florida. I spent time training alligators this weekend. It was incredible at Gatorland in Orlando. Just as a side note, I had the most beautiful trip to Florida. Went to Boynton Beach, which was stunning, Cocoa Beach, Clearwater Beach, Sanibel Island. Went to the Everglades, got to spend time with a big mama alligator and her babies. I have videos of that. Please check that out. There's a video that is so rare of this beautiful mama alligator with her baby sitting on her head while it's raining. And the question is the baby protecting her mama from the rain, or is the mama protecting her baby? Because a storm was coming in the Everglades. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful experience. I'm very hyped about that. But back to Amy Lynn Bradley. So the second part of this goes into, and there's a man named Herman Gole who has been working with investigators, and this information is out saying Amy Lynn Bradley has children, was on Curaçao, was being held, and is addicted to drugs, which sounds, we'll go into it. And the second part of this is Dechi, the taxi cab driver, the first person to see Amy after she went missing from the ship, which the documentary mentions. And I've been very critical of everyone involved as far as these so-called witnesses who claim they've seen Amy. But spending time in the Caribbean, Dechi, who was a man of East Indian descent or Pakistani, there's a very large population in the central and southern Caribbean of Pakistani, East Indian people who've been there all the way to Guyana, in that latitude and longitude region. The reason, and a lot of them run their own businesses. Driving around tourists is a big business there. So I do believe this man, so he would have had contact. But now what's being released is that a Caucasian woman with green eyes, with shortish, dark brown hair, came up to him asking to use a phone. This was 1998, so there was no cell phones. There was pay phones. But now it's coming out that this man states that she asked him to drive her to a place, to an address of a home where there's human trafficking was known, which he did, and that's been released. Now, this man, unfortunately, is deceased, and he died of cancer, or let's say medical complications. I don't have that verified. There has been some talk and videos that he was in fear of his life, or the individuals involved in the trafficking got him people. That's not. Curaçao is a tiny island. It's not, it's not Chicago or some war zone that is, or St. Louis or some U.S. city that's constantly having homicides, drug fights. It's not Juarez. Curaçao is a very nice island. It has a few problems, but the ABC Islands all the way to Guyana, really, they have human trafficking, they have drug issues, but it's no different than anywhere else. It's not, they're just too small, and if you're a big player in the crime world or drug world, you're not going to do it there. You might hide, but especially now. So that's one part of it. The next part of it is there's a man named Herman Gole, I think is how you say his name, and this man from Curaçao, that sounds like a Dutch-German name. He is, which is a lot of people. They're either Caribbean and European there. This man saying Amy was being held in 2016 when he saw her by a Cuban drug lord he called Bob. No, it's obviously not his name. But he said Cuban drug lord, which sets off red flags for me. That just, first of all, I mean, this isn't Scarface. And second to that, Amy was addicted to drugs, but he didn't specify what drugs. And I say that because let's hypothetically look at this. Okay, let's say this person, this Cuban drug lord, has been holding Amy, and she is addicted to drugs. Well, it's probably not going to be fentanyl, because she would be dead. She'd be unalive for this long. It would most likely be very good cocaine, maybe heroin, maybe some other things that are low level. I doubt meth. Meth is not big in that part of the world. It's really coke, heroin, pills. So she could be, and you're going to see a lot of videos that will parrot some of this, and these people are doing a disservice, a massive disservice, because it's all subjective. What drugs? What do they mean addicted? I mean, is she in a room passed out like a shooting alley for heroin? She's been missing, that would be 18 years of drug use. This character, Gole, also stated that she had children in this home with the Cuban drug lord. Now, there has been some objective evidence that Amy Lynn Bradley does have children. We don't know how many, we don't know the ages, but she does have children that were brought to South America. But we don't know anything, and anyone who says they know, the only people who would know would be the FBI. And I say that it may be a PI, a private investigator. You read and hear the word investigator a lot. And I hear that but no one specifies what kind of investigator. What are they, a PlayStation investigator? That's always concerning. An investigator for law enforcement on the island, an investigator for some kind of government or private organization. That's a big issue. And I hope everybody thinks objectively and subjectively, looks at everything. A lot of us may hate attorneys and hate the court system and find it boring too. But you have to think like an attorney and think objectively. So if someone, for instance, you can't go to court if you're giving your deposition, testifying, and say, if you witnessed a crime, if you witnessed an unaliving, and you saw the perpetrator is sitting with his defense attorney, and say, I saw him do XYZ and he's a terrible person for doing it. You can say, I witnessed him doing, or her doing XYZ, blah, 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 but a subjective saying they were bad, it was very bad and he behaved badly. Those are adjectives. That's subjective. We're not trying to determine the morality of it. They're trying to determine what crimes were committed, what to sentence him on, what to convict the guy on, or the girl, and how to sentence him. So I look at it the same way. These vague statements about her having children, though there's a lot of conjecture. Colombia, Trinidad, Venezuela, of all that. I don't know how Venezuela would be. I would take Venezuela out of the equation because Venezuela has just declined and collapsed in the past decades. I would not look at Venezuela as being a serious part of this. I could see Colombia, Curaçao. But please be aware, everything you hear coming from Curaçao, just like the Blair Witch Project, if you all remember that, ghost hunting, and stay with me with this, all sorts of missing people, missing things. There are people going to Curaçao just to look for Amy Lynn Bradley out of a morbid curiosity. So Curaçao is getting combed over. And people who stop there on cruise ships or go there for the beach, there's people who are curious, who are probably every white woman with green eyes they see, who's, well, would be in her 50s now, middle-aged, they're probably following. So, especially by 2016. But let's go with this. There's another part of this. So she's living with this Cuban drug lord. Why Cuban? I don't know. I don't know why that ethnicity was targeted, named in this. But there's a lot of suspicion that this guy is trying to hose the Bradleys, who've already been hosed for money before. So they have a whole army of supporters, and rightfully so, I'm one of them, to keep people from doing that, because they got scammed out of 6 figures from Frank Jones after Amy, claiming that he was going to get her out of Curaçao, and he had a shootout, some nonsense story, and he went to prison for that, thank goodness. So this man, I know Amy's brother, Brad Bradley, has come out, bless his heart, he's trying to do his best, but he's come out and said there's truths and lies with this story, and which is the best way to put it. And more information's supposed to come out. I don't, whenever you hear that, there's nothing's going to come out. They don't know what's going on. And if there's more information, the FBI has it, they're not going to release it. And they shouldn't release it, because this needs to stay in the family because of the truth with this. She has children, probably. Is she alive? We don't know. Did she fall off the boat? That was my initial theory. But I'm open to possibilities, because all this information coming out. The last part of this Gole character in 2016, late 2016, had made plans to meet with the Bradleys to go over what he knew at a coffee shop in Curaçao. And she had investigators with her. So I'm assuming they're either PIs, private investigators, or FBI. And he bailed. Supposedly he was literally seen outside the coffee shop. And he claimed he bailed because he was in fear for his life, which I think is complete bullshit. It's not that. There's something else going on. So, to sum all of this up, as far as the new things, Amy was alive in 2016. Amy has children. The Bradley family is even more confused. They're trying to do their best, and they may have some leads. Is she alive now? We don't know. There's a big chance she isn't. And finally, who is this Cuban drug lord in Curaçao, which is an island not known for crime or drugs? So, or Aruba, or Barbados, or Bermuda, or even Trinidad and Tobago has their issues. I mean, of course, they're near South America, but they don't even have the population base in Guyana too, to have major drug issues. And I'll tell you another reason. That area is very Muslim. It's Muslim, Christian, and Hindu, but religion is important to the population there. Not everybody. But that speaks to, I mean, it's not like Haiti or Jamaica. When you have those types of demographics, there's just not a high level, if you are trying to engage in a criminal enterprise, there's just not a lot of opportunities there. You could there's other places to go to the Bahamas, which is really touristy. Go to South Florida. So there you go. Take it for what you will, but be vigilant when you hear things. We all hope Amy's alive. It would be wonderful if she did have children. We pray that she's not addicted to drugs, whatever that means. I always take that with a grain of salt, because that could mean that if someone comes out and says, yes, I saw Amy, I saw her over a period, Amy was in a room, in a house, she was her mental alertness was compromised, she looked to be on a substance on a regular basis. And from these dates to these dates. That is what you want to hear. You want to hear Amy had there's possibility. She's got 2 sons and a daughter. They're this age and that age. They've been seen in XYZ. Number 3, Amy has been observed in an individual's home that's known for criminal activity from these dates to that dates. This individual is, I don't care if, Cuban, whatever, it doesn't matter. Drug lord's a drug lord. What does that mean? That's another thing. A drug lord because he sells the most drugs in the apartment. Meet me a drug lord in your living room because you're selling drugs to everyone in the neighborhood. Maybe an individual who is known to sell illicit substances. That's what you want. And we're not getting that, unfortunately. So, but this gets stretched out even more. I would not be surprised, and I don't know how this works with lawyers, if Netflix, we can talk about that at the end, right now, the end of this video, has the rights or some kind of legal right to Amy Lynn Bradley's story. So because another documentary is going to come out, I can guarantee it. And I don't know if Netflix is the only one who can release it, if it works that way. Whereas if the Discovery Channel, A&E, one of these types of Hulu, because we want to get another take on it. Netflix is going to sensationalize it. They're going to throw in all this ancillary fluff like they had in the first one of Friends and how she played basketball and all this garbage nobody cares about that has nothing to do with anything. A little brief explanation: she can swim, she wasn't in a crime, she was... Now with this information they need to focus on that, and there's a lot there. But they also have to have some verification. So I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you for watching. I hope everyone stays safe. Please comment down below if you have anything to add. Thank you.